Well, hello, my friends. This is Linda with Linda's New Plants for You. I just want to start off by apologizing to my viewers. I know it's been about 2 weeks or a little better maybe since I was able to do a video. I had some downtime again, unfortunately, but the good news is that I'm back on my way up again. So hopefully when I get to the top of this hill, I'll stay there for even a little longer than the last time, and eventually it'll be forever. But in the meantime, I know it's frustrating when you're a subscriber and you enjoy watching people's videos and you keep going looking for them and there's nothing there. I have a few of my favorites that I feel that way about, so I just wanted to say thank you for sticking with me, and for those of you that have reached out to me, I really appreciate that. And with that said, here's today's video is going to be on two things, but one of the things that I want to touch on here is watering. And the reason I have this plant out here in my Calathea or Calathea, I pronounce it both ways. You can hopefully see that this is still quite wet. And what happened while I was ill is I have a hard time tending to and taking care of my plants sometimes. And when that happens, my plants suffer, unfortunately. And this one suffered because I was looking at it, I couldn't figure out what was wrong, and I thought I hadn't watered it, and I didn't bother checking the soil because I was in such a physical state that all I could do was get up and water a few plants, and then I had to lay back down. So unfortunately what happened is I ended up watering this twice. And I didn't even realize I did it until I was talking to my friend Suzette from Suzette's Gardens. And I said, I don't know what's going on with my Calatheas. And these are the ones that were all cascading from that wooden corner shelf that my husband brought home that was so beautiful. And she said, well, if there's you sure there's no spider mites? You sure there's no nothing? I said, nope, I've looked it all over, there's nothing. And I don't know why I didn't think of this. I've been raising plants all my life, but that's where the brain fog comes in. And she said, did you maybe overwater it? And I said, well, I don't think so, because I'm a underwaterer. I underwater to a fault. So that never crossed my mind. Well, sure enough, I took it out of the pot while I was on the phone with her, and yep, the soil was soaking wet. So thank you, Suzette, for bringing that to my attention, because I don't know why I didn't think of it, but I almost lost all of my Calatheas that were on that stand. I have since taken them out, and they're drying out now. And once this gets a little bit drier, I will put it back in the pot and put it back in its home. But just to let you know that, you know, even those of us that have a lot of experience and been doing this for a long time, we too make mistakes sometimes, and sometimes then it's not even through our own fault. Sometimes things just happen. But that one I wanted to point out to, because that was a biggie for me. But the real reason for this video today is I've been asked to do a care video on my Pilea or Pilea, and I guess that can be pronounced both ways too, according to the internet. So the name is Pilea Peperomioides, and I have several of them, but I'm going to start out by just letting you know that the story behind these is really very interesting. And they, you know, at the time when I purchased my first one, these plants were starting to come down in price, but they were still pretty pricey. They were still running about anywhere from $40 to $70 just for a very small plant. And you could only get them for the longest time in other countries. And I just made a little note to myself here that I got this off of the internet. It says in 1945, the Pilea Peperomioides hitched a ride from China to Europe with a Norwegian missionary. He then gave the Pileas easily propagated offshoots to friends and family in Norway, and from there it spread to Sweden, then the UK, and beyond. Earning its name as the pass-it-on or friendship plant. It's also called a Chinese money plant. But they, like I said, at the time when I first saw these and wanted one, they were very expensive. But I went in our Stein's Garden Center, and they had one in this size pot, and it came in a box with an extra pot, and it was put out by a greenhouse that their whole business started because of this Pilea. I tried to find the link for it to put it on the description for you, but I couldn't find it. I don't know what happened to it. So I don't know. You could try and research maybe. But anyways, I paid like $12 or $14 for this size. And I just thought it was so cute. And I really just got such a kick out of it for the longest time. And then when it started to grow, and I started to see more of them on the internet, and when I saw what it could do, I think the first one that I saw that was like this big one was on, oh darn, Crazy Plant Guy. And when I saw what that could look like, I had to have it. So as I said, I started out with a little one like this. Now this one my granddaughter bought me for my birthday or for Christmas, I forget. And so that's that. And then these are these are babies from the mother plant. And I have given another baby to a friend of mine that she has this size now. Now, they wanted me to talk about the care. And what I can tell you that I know absolutely for sure is these plants need the brightest light you can give them. Preferably not direct sun in the summer, but I do have it in direct sun right now. And I also have an LED equivalent to 100 watt right up above and next to all these plants. And even that is not quite enough because as you can see, and hopefully you can see this here, the stem, you have to turn these every couple of days. Otherwise you end up with a stem going off in you know, in one direction. So then you want to turn it so that the sun is on this side so it goes towards the sun. And like I said, I have this in a south window. And then with the LED light over it. So it's getting a lot of light and it could even use more. So if you have one of these plants and you're struggling with it and you don't have it in enough light, that would most likely be the reason. Another thing that happens, and people get really worried about this, is a lot of times the new leaves will come out, they'll be puckered. And that's normal. They do that. And there might be a botanical or scientific reason for that I don't know of, but I have found it to be a normal thing with my plants. I remember the first time that happened, I was totally freaking out about it because I thought I had some kind of insect eating the leaves, but it wasn't. That wasn't it at all. As far as watering goes, that is, as you can see here, hopefully you can see this. This is a watering issue. And what happens sometimes when I water, if I don't get the water evenly in the soil, I'll have these problems. Now, one of the things that I took the liberty of using, I do own a moisture meter, however I very rarely use it, but I did on this one this morning because I needed to know what was going on here, because I don't normally get these kinds of leaves. It happens periodically, usually when I overwater or underwater. And because I've got her in terracotta, and they love terracotta, by the way, I did have my medium-sized one in a plastic, and she didn't do well in there. They really like the terracotta. So one of the things that I can say here is the babies that will come out. Let's see if I can show you this here. You'll get babies that will come out from the main stem of the plant at the bottom there, or at the edge of the pot. And they grow under the soil and then pop up at the outer edge of the pot. So if you're the type of person that when you go around to check for watering like I do and you feel the soil, be careful with this plant because you might break off a baby. They start out so tiny you can barely see them. And I like to let this dry out till about down maybe the bottom inch or two, which is where it is right now. One of the things that I think that I did again with this plant is I think I overwatered. Now, even though it was dry to the touch all the way down to my finger, the bottom was still pretty wet. And these are off of the mature plant, the mother plant. So I'm pretty sure that is what happened there. So what I try to do is I try to let it dry out, and then when I do water it, I try to make sure that I'm getting water where each baby is and then where the crown is, down right in the middle. I don't saturate the whole pot because if I do, this is what happens. Better to err on the side of not enough water than too much water. What the plant does is it starts to droop like it is right now. You can see that right here, how these are hanging down. And that's telling me that this needs water. However, if I soak this right now, it's going to give water to some of these that don't need to be watered, like these. They're standing straight up, they're perfectly fine. So there is a balance here of being careful where you put the water when you water them once they get to this point. When they're still in this stage, it doesn't really matter. And as you can see, there's babies coming all over in here. And in this one, I water the whole plant, and it dries out. It's a small plant, so it's fine. And the same with these. I will water the whole pot, let the water run through and out. Now, when I do water this big one, I don't ever let it sit in water. It never has to because I never put enough water in it to make it run through the bottom. I don't know if that's confusing you. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping I'm helping you. And if you have specific questions, you can always write to me in the comment section, and I'll do my best to respond. The other thing that I've noticed with this plant is, besides needing the very, very bright light, is it needs it all day. It needs a good 12 to 14 hours of bright light every day. When it doesn't get it, it acts up. At least mine does. So, and as far as humidity, my humidity level has been hovering between 46 and 50, 51. And so far, my plants are doing fine without I don't have a humidifier. I do put a pot of boiling water on when the humidity drops below 45, just to get it a little moisture in here. And that will happen when I have the furnace up too high and it's, kicking in all day long and it's drying out the air. But we've had a pretty mild winter this year, so I haven't really had to deal too much with that. But the one thing about the Pilea that I really, really love is the cylindrical form of it. And this will, if I put this in where the south light is facing, that plant will go toward that light and it will stand straight up within a day. So it does straighten itself out pretty easily. And I don't know, it's just a very rewarding plant. It's very beautiful. Don't fret if you lose a couple of leaves, because there's so much growth that's coming out of the middle here that's all going to fill in, and it's all going to come out. So, and you can either cut them off and you can, make more plants for yourself or give some away to your loved ones, or just leave them in there and let it get full. But I think we can't get too many Pilea plants. Now here you can see I lost quite a few leaves on this side of the main stem, but look at all the babies that are coming out. And that's going to fill that in. So, yeah, that's really all I have to say about this plant. It's a pretty easy plant to take care of. And it does, like I said, it needs lots and lots of light. And I'll be watering these when I put them back in their home. But, I just want to say that I just want to thank you guys again for being there for me and being my support. And, my plants are kind of my therapy too. There's something about when you give and it gives back. Life can be hard sometimes, and if we let ourselves get caught up in the negative of things, that can bring us down pretty quickly. So we have to, no matter how bad things get in our day, I always try to remember that there's a lot of people that have it a lot worse, and that no matter what, we're gonna make it through. So, and my plants help me with that, because there's something when you are nurturing your plants and taking good care of them, they'll give you beauty back. They'll reward you with that. But the downside of it is, if you're not able to tend to them when they need tending, it's kind of like having a baby. If baby cries and you can't change its diaper or give it a bottle, that's not good. And plants are the same way. They're living, breathing things, and we have to really, be on top of it and take good care of them if we want them to reward us with the beautiful foliage and flowers. But not to give up. If you have a downtime and something happens, just move on, carry on, pick up where you left off and keep going. I remember hearing a couple times in my life that no successful person ever made it there without many failures. And a lot of times people will give up on plants. I've heard people say, I don't have a green thumb, I kill everything, I'm just not good with them. I don't think that's true of anybody. I think everyone has the ability to grow plants. I think the key lies in how badly do you want to grow that plant. Because if you really, really want that beautiful plant at the end of the day, there's plenty of research out there. There's plenty of experienced growers on YouTube that give very valuable information to help you do that. But the key is to be consistent, and that's pretty much with everything in life, isn't it? It doesn't do any good to be really good at something for one day and then not do anything with that talent for 2 years and then try to pick up a year later. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. So we have to try to be consistent, and we want to try to do the best we can at whatever it is that we're tackling. And for me, it's been my plants. They've been my refuge and really my inspiration for my day, because I'm housebound and I'm not able to get out very much. So I need this in my life, and I am so grateful that I'm able to still take care of my plants and watch them grow, and so it's a wonderful thing for me. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to do a full tour here in the near future. That does take some doing, so I think, I don't know, I counted quite a while ago, probably 6-8 months ago, I was at about 200 plants, and I know I've gotten a couple more since then, but I'm right around that mark. And that is a lot of plants to take care of, and it's going to take a long time to put it on video. So I'll probably break it down into rooms like I've done in the past. But I want to share with you my ups and downs and the growth that I've gotten on some of them that was very surprising, and even some of the downfalls that I've had, because we all have them. But in the meantime, again, thank you so much for hanging there with me, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to bring you more videos in the very near future. In the meantime, just keep me in your prayers and keep growing. Alright, and if you like my videos, then go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification button so it'll let you know when I put up a new video. And if you like the video and you want to give me a thumbs up, that would help too. It just helps me to know that you're watching and that you like it or don't like it or whatever. So, alright, I hope this has helped, and I hope that, oh, I did want to say one more thing. When you take a cutting from this plant, you can cut straight down. I have two babies coming up on the side there, and on that one I can cut straight down and put that right back in dirt. If you cut it off of the mother plant on this side, you can do the same thing. You can still put it in soil, but it's very important to keep it continuously moist, because if it doesn't have roots on it, it will rot if they don't keep it. Just keep it moist. Don't make it too wet. All right, I think that's pretty much it. Okay, well, I thank you all for coming, and I hope to see you or bring you some more videos very soon. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend if I don't talk to you before then. And thanks again. Bye now.